Did you see my outfit?
Yes. Yes, I did. The golden outfit.
Yeah,
Hello,
did you
Yeah.
hello.
happen to listen to the VOD?
We are
It's been
live.
a while.
Mm.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello?
I'm eating as per on brand.
Eating as for on brand. I mean, it's allowed. So, I turned you off. Why are you not off?
When you
Okay,
get home from work like an hour ago, you get hungry.
click. Sorry. I had OBS issues, and Sirenscape is introducing a web player now, and it's thrown their website out of whack. I
Doing
need
another
I,
one.
I need a heads up for this shit, people. You can't just start making environmental changes when I'm not ready for them. You know.
Yeah, you got to be scheduled like a D&D game. Come on
Yeah,
now.
exactly. We're on a timetable here. Chop chop.
I love the comment somebody made about the up and coming D&D movie that they should stop it halfway through and then say, "Okay, when can everybody in the theater have a time when we can all get together to watch
and,
the
and,
second
and,
half?" I
and
love
finish and
that.
finish the movie.
Yeah,
Right?
I love that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not gonna dog the movie. I am remaining optimistic only because the CG doesn't look like dog shit. But the teaser trailer doesn't really have enough dialogue for me to be like, okay, I have to see this, other than some some one liners from Pine, which are
you know,
there to bring in all the Piners. So
well, the funny thing is, like, it also brings in the bards too, because he's a bard and he gets outed almost immediately
oh yeah,
by, I think it's a druid girl. It's
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, he's the bard. He sings a lot.
And
Ah,
yeah, I don't know what nonsense you guys are doing. I will let you know right now. Like, you just made every druid right into fucking Watsy, because every moon druid now wants to be a fucking owlbear. Cause
what
cause you can't do
kind of
that
animal is that?
shit. Uh, Owlbears are monstrosities. You can't turn into a monstrosity if you're a druid.
Well,
Hey, it's a
it's okay.
homebrew. This it's
Yeah,
a
it's,
home.
Salvation reference the
that's
movie.
another comment they made. Like, don't worry about it. The
Let's
DM said it's cool. It's a home.
yeah, let's just
Yeah.
say the DM says it's cool. It's a homebrew. Take your popcorn, have a good time.
Yep. Alrighty. So, quick recap. Again, thank you guys for showing up. Everybody who's watching on the VODs, everyone who's watching live. Um, Welcome to episode 34 of Wayward Wanderers, um, which is an Extinction Curse Pathfinder 2 adventure box. And I'm running these ragtag players to do some crazy shizzles. Last installment, they parlayed and saved a bunch of wolves and killed the bar guest. So, that was the thing. And Yonk sadly was very sad that the all of her time and effort into making the trap was not even engaged or used. Just
It could be used in the future.
just sidestepped. She wanted to know if her trap worked, and
But
she,
it's
I mean,
it's
if
not.
it'll make you feel better, y'all, if I can just step in it real
no, that's not the point. You know what's gonna happen. And the whole point of a trap is to trap things that don't know what's gonna happen. So
fair.
she's hopeful another opportunity will come to actually have the
Maybe
trap
I'll
be
use it.
used.
Hey, we could
Maybe
use it
I'll
for
use.
hunting.
Yeah,
And
I mean I
and
could go hunting with it.
and the trap is now a thing you guys have. You guys have a wagon sized trap.
This won't fit in our
Granted,
It's
bags of holding, right?
still full of meat.
what was that?
Is it still full of meat?
Well, the meat was given to the wolves as part of the pacification.
Cool. All right. So at
They,
least that part got used.
yeah,
Yep.
Didn't want to have.
the meat was not left to rot in the cage because ew.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want that near our campsite. Come on.
No,
It's like, it's like no.
got very well used, actually.
Yeah.
The
So,
circus folk liked it in their stew and all. So
yes,
Yeah,
they
there
did.
you go.
So last session, we did not have weirds. Cantrell was sadly incapacitated because he
He
decided that
drunk.
No.
he got goaded into a drinking contest with the dwarven troop of high flyers and cannoneers. He just was feeling full of himself, and they were drinking a special kind of dwarven grog that pretty much, you know,
It's
looks like runny molasses.
it's
And
sad because he did actually improve in his strength and his muscles and everything, but his constitution is just shit.
yep,
Oh, you actually did drink with them.
Mhm.
yep, that was his reason. It's canon. It's like, you know, you can't always be sick or on a walkabout. Sometimes you just, you know, play the fuck around game and you find out.
I need to join them for a drinking game.
You're more than welcome to it.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah.
There are consequences. Just you know.
If I can get through the drinking game in town, I think I can beat the dwarves.
No, it's I will let you know right now what they drink is is a higher DC. Remember that scene in the Matrix where they're talking about you know, the whatever turpentine type booze that they make on the ship that can degrease an engine?
Right. Yeah, it's literally diesel.
Yeah. So it's like they don't drink it a lot. They make it themselves, and when they do, like the circus camp usually gives them a wide berth because it is not for the faint of heart. Like even the brewing process can knock you the fuck out. So
And at some point, someone's going to get in the cannon and launch themselves across the grounds. We have to be set up for that too.
well, I mean, well, the thing is, Cantrell knows that some of the materials used for making their gunpowder mix is used in the brewing for this particular dangerous dwarven grog.
Yeah, had to make sure not to get a little sparky at
Yep,
all.
yep, it is very high octane. But again, you know, anyone who wants to take some time out, you know, when you're done with the day and you want to drink with the dwarves, and you know, they don't always
Shimmer will
drink it.
pass.
They don't always drink it.
I'm
I mean,
doing
you
it.
know, but
I'm doing it.
just letting you know.
I'm doing it.
Just letting you know. So before we get all crazy, so you guys are in a campfire. Like, I know I have one somewhere.
Oh, and the other point that Cantrell missed that might be of interest particularly is that Gwennon can memorize air bubble if we want to explore further that area where he had gone underwater and found the cave.
Right. Yeah, and I
But I need a
marked.
long rest before I can do that.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, I just
Uh,
remembered the marking I left behind
why is
on the
there
map
where's there a tiny Cantrell on the map?
because that's
That's what I was wondering.
because there's no
Oh.
regular size Cantrell on the
Oh,
map.
that's because the regular size Cantrell is hidden away because
Oh,
he was indisposed.
right. Gotcha.
You're looking for the prone, sound
Huzzah.
asleep, unconscious version of Cantrell.
All right. So everyone is at full hit points, and you have a hero point. You can put yourselves around the campfire. Ba, 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 ba,
Here,
ba.
see there. There you are. Get my hero
Think,
point back. There we go.
where's my
Perfect.
where's my bonfire?
That's a nice little campsite you got going there.
There's some decent artwork for free. Where's my campfire sense? I know. Nope. Grr.
Are we basically starting a new day at this point, Az?
Yes, you are.
So would I be able to, at this point, switch out one of my spells for air bubble?
Yep. During your preparation,
I
you
will
can
do that.
totally do that.
Thank you. Okay.
Uh,
I think Azure knows where I will be going after this campfire session.
Playing with the bear.
Yep. And I made friends with the burr.
Right, I remember that.
It's been going really well.
why are campfires so crappy? Just give me a regular campfire sound. Nope. I just want a campfire. Like, how hard is it to have crackling fire? Alright. Sirenscape is failing me.
Oh.
Alright, fine, I'll use that one. At least I can hear the stupid campfire. Good. No, go away. So you guys are sitting by the campfire. It's early morning. You guys are making some breakfast. I don't know if you guys want to actually prepare any actual food or whatnot, but all of a sudden, while you're having your noms, nope, wrong one. Nope. Why do I always mess this one up? Oh, I know why. Because I renamed it and moved it. And let's switch over to the map so everyone else can see. Are you playing twice? Okay, so like everyone's things are breaking today. Seriously, like what is up? Okay, there we go. At least that one sounds normal. I don't know what the hell's going on with audio. I rebooted my machine. Everything's acting goofy today. Let's switch over to the map. Perfect. So you guys are eating, and then Shima hears it first before anyone else does. You hear this playful music that you've heard before, and you're not sure like what in the heck is going on. And then
Where's our fuzzy friend?
right behind Shima, you hear like this audible pop, and like streamers like start flying around.
Hey, he's back.
And this little raccoon guy pops up on his ball, spinning his plates again, and he's looking at Shima and he's smiling, and he reaches into this like little tiny bag, and he pulls out this like just really long rectangular box, and he hands it to Shima, and then he pulls out a stool and puts it down, and then he pulls out a plate of cupcakes, and they all have like colorful sprinkles and a candle on the center one as they're erected in a pyramid. And he lights the candle, and then he waves at Shima, and then he pops his balloon that he's riding on, and in a shower of confetti, he's gone again.
Shimmer looks like a little bewildered. Okay. So, I guess this is my turn this time.
Apparently
Your
so.
turn.
So what'd you get?
Now, all you guys are wondering what you guys should at least know now that you've discussed your birthdays were around when this little guy appears. So for anyone who doesn't know, in my games, if your birthday appears within a week or so of a game session, I will give you an in-game birthday gift to your player. And Shima's
My birthday was yesterday.
Woo! Happy birthday! Woo!
Happy belated birthday.
Now we just gotta get Weird's birthday.
January.
Yep,
That's a while away.
came and gone, and he didn't tell me until like February. So
Look at what you missed out.
We weren't doing it yet, so
he missed out. Well, he didn't
That's
mention.
fine.
He never mentioned it. So
hey.
So now he's retroed a gift.
that was January. So you have this box, and it has like all these like weird. It has these weird monastic symbols. Like specifically that like the symbols and the iconography on the wrapping are monastic in nature.
Okay. A little confused, but Shimmer will open it.
All right. Inside the box is a bow. It's a gorgeous bow. It has it's like it's I don't know if you know the old recurve bow design that they had in 3.5, but it looks like a recurve bow. It's a little ornate. It has some symbols and etchings and things carved into it. And when you take it out, give me a perception check.
Right. That's going to be a 24.
All right, this looks a lot like the design the smith said he was going to use for the bow he was making for you.
Let the raccoon pay for my bow.
Yeah.
You might be getting 2 bows, who knows?
I could
Maybe
probably
you
stop by
will.
and see, because I don't want to waste his time and such.
Maybe it just like magically disappeared.
So what are you doing?
I take it out of the box and I sort of look at it. Sort of examine it a little bit.
Alrighty. Are you...
Do I see any arrows with it?
There is a quiver that comes with it, but it doesn't have any arrows in the quiver.
Huh. So she'll examine it a bit, even pull the bowstring to see how the elasticity is.
It's the pull of this bow is strong, but you don't feel it resist as much as you believe
Would
it should.
imagine.
Like it pulls very easily for you.
Interesting.
There are
I'm still gonna have to buy.
There are arrows in camp. You just have to find some.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go to back to the camp and see if I can locate some arrows.
That's easily fine.
And a target.
Okay. Are you gonna set the target up or like?
Yeah, I'll set it up just to give it a test try.
Are you gonna do it in the like near the campfire, or are you gonna do it like in the circus tent? Like where are you setting up the target?
I
No
guess
matter
we
where-
could do it near the campfire.
I was gonna say, no matter where she goes, Shathra is following because she's very curious.
Okay. Give me one quick second here.
Now I'm still not proficient with those, but she's still gonna give it a try.
Maybe it's a monk bow.
Well, that was what she was trying to get made, so.
Ready? So give me one quick second here.
Sarah Pepper put this to put some perishables back in the fridge.
Oh,
Don't mind me. 1 second.
let's see. Target. Yeah, that works. One second here. Just get rid of some stuff that's in my way. There we go. Alright, good. Let's get maybe yes. Oh, need to move it just a little bit more up. There we go. Alrighty, so got this target set up. You grabbed a couple arrows.
All right, gonna give this a test try and try to hit the target.
Alright.
So for this, what am I rolling?
Range attack is basically just like your strength based, except it's dexterity.
Okay, so it's gonna be my dex.
And are you using strength or dex for your punches?
I think I use strength for my punches.
So then you would subtract whatever your strength modifier is from whatever that modifier is, and then replace it with your dex modifier, and that's your ranged modifier. Because that's the only difference between the two.
Okay, for my unarmed fist, I normally will have a plus 14.
Okay.
My dex is 1 point lower, so would it be a plus 13 or something like that?
It would be, remember, because you have um, you're using potency hand wraps, so technically it'd be -2.
Okay, so it would be a plus 12 then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's going to be a 24 to hit.
Alrighty, you hit the target. It's a little off of the bullseye, but you gave it a good hit. You start getting comfortable. After you shoot the first shot, you can shoot again.
Yeah. Is it a -4 or a -5?
Bows are agile, so it's -4.
All right. 19.
All right, 19 hits the target. It's a little bit further away than the last shot, off center.
Alright.
What is everyone else doing?
At this point, just gotta keep it tabs on how not to piss off Shima.
I would have walked over to watch her try out her new bow. So I would be standing there and I would be sort of encouraging her that, she's doing good considering it's a new bow.
And I don't
Okay.
have proficiency in it.
Oh, that's right. You don't have proficiency, so you'd be untrained. Hold on. See something here.
Taking off a few points, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I won't dock you retroactive, but let's see. Expert. I think expert is plus 4. So you're a +4 because you're expert with your unarmed wraps. So you would be untrained. So it would be -4 for a non-proficient shot, and a -2 because so it'll be -6 in total.
Okay, so it would have been a +8.
Yep.
All right, so I guess my last roll will just be a plain roll. 17.
All right, 17 will just barely hit the target. Stationary, not moving, so DC for the target, AC for the target is not very high. So as Gwenin is, encouraging you, and she's like, "You got this, Shima," you feel a little weird. Give me a will save.
Will save. Okay. That's going to be a 19.
Alrighty. So you feel a little weird, and it kind of throws you off. You start seeing this weird ribbon of gold
Oh,
coming off of Gwenin and attaching itself to the bow. It's kind of faint, but you can see it after you shot a couple shots, and the bow feels way more comfortable in your hands now. Oddly. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to see about making one more shot. And see what that does. That is a 12.
What was on the die?
12.
Oh. So you rolled a 12. That wasn't the total.
Well, that's what I rolled, and since it's already been -8, so.
So you would consider this a new round. I mean, it's because you're not
Okay.
shooting at active. So it's basically the way I'm gonna do it is after you hit the third map, it resets because you're just target shooting. It's
Okay, so then it would be a +8. So that would be a unnatural 20.
It actually feels like it's a better shot than that. Mechanically, mechanically you would add 5 more points. So it's 25 right now.
Okay. Interesting.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. That's a neck whacking for 29.
Alrighty. You don't know. You feel like you have proficiency with using a bow. Like your first couple shots a little bit awkward. Like this shot, after you got some encouragement, just seems like you were just way more in tune with the bow. And it seems like it's easier to hit stuff, and you feel like you're actually more proficient with the bow than you started off with. You're not exactly sure why. And Gwenin, because you're actually looking at Shima, as you're encouraging her, it's not immediate, but that last shot, you start seeing that familiar golden ribbon going from you over to her bow.
I probably would say something out loud to the effect that, oh, look, there's another one of those golden ribbons again, because we've seen this before.
Yeah,
This is the first time I'm seeing it.
So the only
Well, and I'll ask you if you see it.
The only other person that can see the golden ribbon would be Shothra.
Okay, but I'm not sure where she is.
I'm there. I'm watching.
Oh, you're there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Jathal, Cantrell, and Wolfie don't see this golden ribbon.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually be actively looking for it with detect magic or something.
So with detect magic, because you're concentrating on Shima and you're looking for this bow, you can feel the bow is magical, but you don't sense any like whatever this gold ribbon thing is they keep talking about. You have no idea what it is. You just know that when Gwenin mentioned it, you felt an intense surge of magic energy coming off the bow.
You're concerned. No, it seems to be okay. Yeah, he just stops thinking about it because it's starting to hurt his head.
So are you gonna keep shooting?
Yeah, I'll do one more shot.
All right.
And it's a -4, right?
Yep.
So, do I add also the 5?
Yes.
Okay, so then it's going to be a +9. That's going to be a 27.
Alrighty. 27. It's a bullseye.
Nice.
So you like hit bullseye on the target, and when you hit the bullseye, that golden ribbon is a little bit brighter, because right now the only one who's giving you encouragement actively is Gwenin, so it's definitely brighter than it was previously. But you give me a class DC check. Give me a monk class DC check.
If when she hits the bullseye, you'd see Shopper giving her some claps.
When you do that, you see a ribbon coming off of you and heading towards her bow.
But ooh, it's like this raccoon has a brand.
Okay, class DC. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to look for it. Never used it before, so I had to look for it. That is going to be 29.
All right. What's your current class DC?
14.
14. You got 29. All right. So you basically know this is a monk bow. It's actually considered a monastic weapon. Um, monastic weapons, specifically when used by a monk, allow you to use all of your monk attributes with the monastic weapon, with or without stances. So you can replace a stance attack with your bow attack if you're doing specific stances. The damage type that you impart onto your stance will instead be imparted onto the bow if you
Ooh.
shoot it.
So if I were to use like Tiger Stance with it, if I get a critic, it would do the bleeding effect.
Exactly. So it would.
Okay.
So the bow would have whatever stance features you have. They also have the damage type that you have. So basically becomes from a damage perspective, it becomes versatile. So the arrow is always piercing unless you modify um, the damage type to the stance that you're in. It's an option. You have to call it before
Okay.
you make it. It doesn't break your stance if you don't use it, because you're not. It's different than like for Tiger Stance. Your attacks, your unarmed attacks, are always slashing. Monastic weapons don't operate the same way. They you can impart the damage type onto the monastic weapon if you choose to when you make the attack.
Okay, so if I notice like something is more damaging to slashing rather than piercing, I could say I'm using my Tiger Stance with the bow and it would do the slashing damage.
As opposed to piercing, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
Um,
sweet.
you also know that nothing good, Rosa. Nothing good. You also know that the weapon, it feels potent. Mechanically, it has a +1 potency on it.
Okay, so
Uh, you know, even though you're not normally proficient with a bow, you just have a feeling as long as you're wielding this bow, you have bow proficiency.
okay.
And it's on par with your actual unarmed strike proficiency. So you have expert proficiency with this bow.
Okay, I'm gonna need stats for it later, I guess.
Um, yeah, I will give you the stats in a second.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you do know that is with this weapon, um, you don't feel like with your hand wraps, because your hand wraps, hit harder,
Mm-hmm.
because it's striking. You don't sense that on the bow.
Mm-hmm.
You do sense that there is something, like some sort of damage mitigation with the bow, but you think it's only with a critical strike because
Mm-hmm.
you felt this specifically when you hit the bullseye. Um, when you hit a target with a critical hit, you know something will happen. You don't know because you haven't hit a living target yet with it, but something happens. You just aren't sure what happens.
Okay, so crit does something special. Hey, it's my birthday. Well, yesterday was my birthday. So I get something special, like everybody else, except for Ken Chow.
Yeah, the raccoon only gives non-utility stuff on birthdays, Rosa.
I got an outfit.
That allows her to speak to animals.
Yep. Give me a second here.
I got a ruin of returning on my star.
So normally, so I'll tell you right now, your bow. So your bow does a D8 damage piercing normally.
Mhm.
It has a range of 40. That's your increment. It's got a bulk 2. We don't really have to worry about that right now because we're not really worried about encumbrance. You guys don't have a lot of shit. You need 2 hands because it's a bow, obviously.
Of course.
Um, uh, because it's a drawn bow, its reload is 0.
Mhm.
And bows have you have the group you have the group specialization bow that comes with this bow. If you shoot any other bow, you wouldn't have it unless you actually earn it. But while
Mhm.
you're wielding this bow, this is separate from the other thing that you felt. It has the deadly trait. So
Ooh.
on a critical hit, you add a d6 to your damage die. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's normal deadly. So deadly, it's just a deadly d6. So basically, you would roll your normal damage, and then you would add the d6 afterwards. It's a separate die roll than whatever
Are you
your.
able to DM me all this
Yep.
this so I can put it
Yep. Um, and as far as damage goes, um, for damage, you add half of your strength modifier to the damage roll.
Ooh. Nice.
Uh, you don't have a negative. You don't have a negative modifier, but if you did have one, it would just be 0. It wouldn't be negative.
Well, that puts an extra 2 points into that.
Yeah. So that's all that. If you're going to start using it, I'll let you know what you have. If you have issues putting it on the character sheet during the break, I'll add it to your character sheet real fast. But
Okay.
that's pretty much what you got.
All right. So if I wanted to take that specialized monk bow thing for my thing for next level, does it do anything else for it or no?
I'm trying to remember that lets you use that monk feat lets you use um, your double strike with the bow, right?
Your flurry of blows.
Your flurry blows. I believe that's what it was, right? That's the bonus it gives.
I'm opening it now to see. Level 6. Mm, yeah, you can use flurry of blows with these bows. You can use your other monk feats or monk abilities that normally require unarmed attacks with these bows. When attacking within half the first range increment, as long as the feat or ability doesn't require a single specific stroke. So yeah, it adds my flurry to blows to it.
Yeah, the second part of that you
Mm-hmm.
get with this bow automatically,
Mm-hmm.
but only in the full first increment of the bow. So,
Okay.
because stances are feats,
Mm-hmm.
you can only get them through feats. This
Mhm.
bow, it doesn't impart the flurry of blows. It will impart your stance. Um,
Okay.
up, it will impart your stance up to the first range category, which is why it let you know what it was. It's 40 feet. So anything after 40 feet, um, it's still a strike, and it has its other abilities, but you can't impart any monastic bonuses to it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just need all of this in a DM or something.
Yep. Alrighty. And the cupcakes that you got look very much like the cupcakes Gwennon got. I'll tell you now, they're the same. There is enough for every single individual in your active group.
I
So,
share them.
so there are 6 of them,
I
and
think my cake expired.
yep, yours expired. It's past expiration date. The cake isn't rotten, surprisingly. Just the magical aura from the cake that you have is gone. It's still delicious cake, but
Oh, good.
when you eat the cake, like, you get no bonuses from it,
All right.
and it has a 3-day shelf life. So after the 3rd day from today, your cupcakes will lose their magical aura. Same thing all the other ones do. Gives you a hero point, and it gives you a full day's rest um, upon eating the whole cupcake.
Mhm.
Let's put that in the pocket for now. Oh,
Someone's riding their bike.
Also,
yeah,
anybody who hasn't
neighbor.
eaten Gwennon's cupcake should be eating them soon.
Soon. Not now. Gotcha.
Alrighty. So, morning, happy
Are-
festivities.
Are we on day 5 now or day 6 then?
You're on day 5.
Still on 5. Okay. So
Oh, it was
The
up.
2 weeks.
Was the wait was the no? Then you'd be on day 6. I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Because we haven't had the Bardolph Shathra encounter for today yet.
Nope.
Gotta have my Bardolph Shathra encounter as per
So,
usual.
so after all this is done and you're heading off to Bardolph's tent?
I go change in my quarters, and I come back out in my wonderful garb, and I say hi to Wolfie, and then we go off to go see Bardolph.
And when Wolfie understands you, Wolfie gets like really excited, and she's like, hi, hi, you can speak to me again, yay!
Yes, Wolfie, I sure can. Let's go see our good friend Bardolph.
Alrighty.
We gotta work on your ball trick now.
So we don't need the map for that. So, all right. So you head over to Bardolph's, and
After he's taking his morning dump.
well, it's actually it's it's a little bit past all that already.
Oh, good.
When you get over to his tent, there's like a small crowd of the circus folk like hanging around the outside, and and they're applauding. When you get within enough view and you can see over the heads of people, um Bardolph is doing his like act. Like, he's on his hind legs. He's going around on his ball. He's juggling bowling pins. You know, he's doing all this stuff. And then, after a few, he hops off the ball, and he has like this comically small, unicycle that
Oh, I thought he did let the unicycle.
he doesn't like the unicycle, but
It's part of his act.
he gets on it. I mean, there's a little tiny grimace when he sits on it, but he kind of sucks it up. And he's just like wheeling around on the unicycle, still juggling the pins and stuff. And then when he's done, and he he lets the pins drop to the ground, and then he he just stands up like tall, and he just does this big roar, and like all the circus folk are just they lose their shit. They don't know why all of a sudden Bardolph has decided to like start, on his own doing his trick, and you're trying like everyone's trying to figure out like how do we get him to do it during a performance, because the crowd would love
Working on
this.
it.
So they're like all super happy, and then he like flops on his butt, and then he starts munching some dried meat, that was left outside of his wagon for him for his breakfast, and he's just nomming on it. He's like, and the crowd starts to dissipate, and everyone's like happy, and they're telling Bardolph like you did a great job, and giving him all this adulation as they head on back to doing their normal stuff in preparation for getting the circus up and running on time.
Shother's just gonna come over clapping and being like, Bardolph, that was amazing. They absolutely loved you.
Oh, hey, Green Lady. He's like, yeah, Bardolph likes the clapping.
They loved you.
Yeah, makes Bardolph feel good.
I'm sure it does. You did amazing. What'd you think, Wolfie?
Super good. Super good. And like Wolfie's like running around in a circle like in front of Bardolph. And Bardolph again takes his like big old paw and like pets Wolfie. And he's like, soon, little one, you be on ball too.
Well, that's what we were gonna come practice with you.
He's like, oh, Bardolph tired. You practice.
She's gonna be the one practicing, really. She needs your help.
Okay. So again, he pushes the big ass ball in front of Wolfie, and again, just like before, stand on ball, don't fall off.
Wise words from Bardolph. And she'll look at Wolfie and bet, you ready, Wolfie?
And Wolfie's like, yeah. And Wolfie, just waiting for you to tell her to jump on it.
Hop on.
All right, so she hops on the ball. I need a reflex check.
Gonna be falling again. 14.
Yep. She hops on, and she just kind of skids off the top of it. And just,
we'll get there.
She just face plants on the other side.
We'll get there. Eventually. You can't learn without falling off.
Pretty much.
Alright, she's gonna try again.
Alright, second attempt.
Ooh, that's better. 22.
Alright, 22. So let's see. So that is a success. Remember, you're now a 5th level performer, so your DC is higher. So that's being factored in. So yeah, she gets on. She's a little wobbly, but she's on it, and then she's like looks at Bardolph, and she's like, "Look, I didn't fall off." And Bardolph is like, "Oh, good job." And then like Bardolph like pushes it so it starts rolling.
Well, we got one part down.
I need one last reflex check.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna use my hero point.
There we go.
Okay. You're going in the jail. That's bad. She doesn't need to get that humiliated in front of Bardolph. 17.
17, she rolls back and lands on her butt.
Damn it. Oh well. If it was in that one, it probably would have been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I did that.
Yeah. So the 17 is not a crit fail, it's a failure. Bardolph looks at Wolfie and it's like, you fell off. And he's like, it's like, remember, get on ball, don't fall off. Almost. And then Wolfie's just like, she's like looks a little bit down, she gets up, and she like shakes her butt, and she's like, yeah, okay, don't fall off. I just have to not fall off again. And she's like, and you just hear just like, running in a circle. Don't fall off. Don't fall off. Don't fall off. Don't fall off. Just like.
That's adorable.
All right, give me a society, animal handling, or a nature check, whichever one is higher, to see what your relationship status with Bardolph adjusts to.
You know what? I keep forgetting to add the +2.
Not gonna warn you.
I know. I gotta remember to do that. It's a +2, right?
Yep. While you're wearing the outfit, anything involving
I gotta remember that.
anything
It still
involving
probably
an
wouldn't
animal, +2 bonus.
It still probably wouldn't have mattered, so it would have been a 19.
Yep, 19 would have failed.
Yeah, it still wouldn't have mattered.
5th level DC is a 20.
Yeah. Um. 17.
17. It is a success, not a critical success.
Take a success.
So you're still in, you're on the borderline of friendly and helpful.
What's after helpful?
Helpful is it's hostile, neutral, friendly, helpful. After helpful, I forget what it's called, but it's pretty much like
Friends.
yeah, it's pretty much for all intent and purposes like it's companion level after helpful.
Almost there.
So Bardolph is helpful. He's on the border. He's not fully helpful. You have a feeling if you could maybe up your relation with him a little bit more, you might be able to talk him into
Performing with me and Wolfie?
Not so much during a circus performance.
Damn.
Like he was just doing it in front of his tent. He hasn't performed in the actual tent in since his trainer died. So you would have to basically when you get him to more into helpful, he'll be more willing to practice in the tent in a performance environment. So
I got how many more days until the circus performance?
Because of how good you did on your society checks with the constable, you guys have 2 weeks, so you have 10 days. So basically,
and we're only on day 6.
Yeah,
I got time.
A week is 10 days long, not 7.
Yeah, it's a 10-day.
So this is actually
Okay.
day 6 of 20 now.
Yes.
Okay.
I got plenty of time to get this bear
Yeah, but
to perform with
but
me.
because of that, the months are depending. I have to look at the calendar, but I believe the months are either I think they're 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's like
So it's
days for a month.
yeah. It's
Therefore, 10 days is a month.
yeah. I have to remember the Pathfinder count, but I believe it's like every 3 10 days is a month. There's no real 4th weeks in a month. You still have a weekend, but um, everything's broken into lots of 10 for their calendars.
At that
So we-
time.
So we got a good amount of time, and we're practically nearly finished searching at least what we can see on the map.
Yep. So, what are you guys planning to do now that all of the incidental stuff is done?
Shimmer's gonna put her bow on her back and equip the quiver and put some arrows into that
Okay.
in case she needs it.
Alrighty. The quiver that you have will hold 20 arrows.
Okay, so she'll put that many in if she could find them around the circus.
You can easily find more arrows. And what did you want to say?
Gwennon will mention to the group that she does have the air bubble spell memorized. So if they want to do any of the underwater things or anything near the water, she's ready or
Okay,
more ready.
so we got a choice. We could do the pond, or we could finish up the south, and because we still got a little bit down there to check out.
It's,
What, the pond over by
let's-
the wolves?
The one over here, yeah.
Yeah, remember Cantrell when he decided to free dive down to the bottom?
Yep.
Said that he saw some sort of opening towards the bottom.
Was that in the upper pond there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
one
I'm-
the one that's in the grove, little
Okay.
alcove thingy.
All right. Well, I'll go for a bit of a swim.
So you guys are gonna want to go and do the underwater thing, or are you gonna clear out the plot?
I don't know. Up to you guys.
Let's see.
Well, the circus crew are sort of clearing the area, right?
No.
Yeah.
They're not. You're clearing you're clearing the property. You guys specifically, because clearing the land requires hazards and potential, things trying to nom on your faces. What the circus folk are doing is they're preparing and leveling the area where the tent is going to be.
Right, yes, that's what I meant.
We're basically setting up like the caravan to have our stuff put over there while the tent is going where they are.
Yep. So you're like, this plot is not officially safe because there's still dangers and hazards that are close enough to where the tents are gonna be that you need to make sure are safe for prospective circus goers.
All right.
So, other than the pond, we got the area where the tar monster was.
Yep. What are you guys doing?
The what monster?
They fought a black oozy thing.
You were
Remember?
there for
You were
that.
there.
I was there for the fight.
Yeah,
That was
I
over
was
here. That was here
Yeah.
for that. Killed that thing.
But there's still
Oh.
some area we haven't finished over there, so
Well, that's fair. Yeah. All right. So those are the only two.
yep.
Okay. Let's go for a dive.
There also is the area in the cave, but we have to talk to the wolves about that probably in an evening.
Spend our time diving and then come back later. Sound good to everybody?
Sounds
All
great.
right. Shimmer's not too thrilled about getting into the water, but she'll follow.
Alrighty.
Hey.
So give me one quick second here. I need to look up something.
Well, if unless there's danger, I was gonna say, Shima, you should always stay up with Wolfie, because I'm not making her dive.
I mean,
And keep an eye.
the air bubble spell will work on her. She's not immune to it.
Well, I know, but she's not really okay. I was gonna say she's probably not really keen on doing this either.
I mean, you know.
We'll also explain that the air bubble is a spell and uses a spell slot, so we may not.
Yeah. Let's not
We
all
may
go
want
down then.
to be a bit judicious about how we use it.
I will tell you now that it is one creature per casting.
Yes. Yeah.
I
And-
would say
and-
since
and-
Cantrell took the dive the first time, he can have air bubble and keep going down.
And how many spell slots do you have at first level?
I have, without counting my divine font,
Nope, those are separate.
I have 3.
All right, so
I would
You-
say we only use it on one person.
so you can cast it on 3 individuals,
Now, when it is a,
or you can cast it on one person 3 times when it expires,
yeah,
if
when
they're
it
within
is
range.
when it is a level 1 spell, can I also use level 2 slots for that if I have to?
No, you'd have to upcast it. Spell levels in spell slots in Pathfinder don't work the same way as in 5e. If you want to cast a spell at a heightened level, if it does not automatically heighten like cantrips do, or it's not a signature spell like how sorcerers and other spellcasters have for their repertoire casting, then you have to allocate the spell at the higher spell slot to cast it at the higher spell slot. And if the spell cannot be heightened, then you can only cast it at that spell slot.
Okay, so I can cast it as a level 1 spell, and I can cast it 3 times.
Yep,
So let's figure out a plan.
Yeah, the air bubble spell itself cannot be heightened.
Yeah.
So I will let you
We
guys figure
Could
that
we
out.
work out a sort of a code with Cantrell if he had a rope, and someone could hold the rope, and we could have like maybe he pull on it once if everything's okay, or he would pull on it twice if he needs help, something simple like that, so that we would minimize the number of spells.
The message spell.
Yeah.
So you're fine on that.
Do you have message as a cantrip?
Yes.
Okay, well there we go then. Perfect.
Give me 1 second. Let's see. Message is target 1 creature. Alright, so message is not a sustainable spell, and it has a target mechanic. So anything that has a target means you have to see it. So basically, once you can no longer see anybody in your party, you can't use message.
Version ever. Sometimes I wonder why I bother with these spells. Just give me fireball, please.
Fireball. I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast fireball. Sorry.
You wanna evaporate that pond? Sure, it's just fireball. No. If anything, don't tie a rope to me. I'm fairly certain I can make it back just fine.
Give me a second here. Sorry.
And how long does the bubble spell last anyway?
Yeah.
Lasts
I
for
wanna
1
make
minute.
sure say anything about it when you recircles.
What was that?
It's the first part of that weird.
Yeah.
Does it go away when you resurface?
Yes.
The bubble spell? Yeah.
Yes. Well, on my in the one place it says it doesn't, but on the other one it says, oh, here, I'll just drop it into chat.
Yeah. A bubble of pure air appears around the target's head, allowing it to breathe normally. The effect ends as soon as the target returns to an environment where it can breathe normally.
Yeah, if it was heightened to 3rd level, the duration increases to 8 hours.
My version is a level 1, and it doesn't show any kind of height.
I think you're looking at the old Pathfinder 1 version of the spell.
You mean
There's
water
also
breathing?
water breathing, which is different.
She's talking
Yeah.
about air. She's talking about air bubble is what she has.
I don't think in this situation that bubble will be good because I then won't have a way back. Because it took everything I had just to get down to the hole to see it and then get back without drowning.
But water breathing still only oh no, it does. If I heightened it, if I cast water breathing at 3rd level, you would have it for 8 hours.
Which is only 1 slot though.
Yeah.
It's one of the bigger spells.
Oh, just a minute now. Oh no, just a minute. What am I doing here?
And you can target up to 5 creatures for the first casting.
Yeah, I could, which would be the whole party. Would you let me retcon memorizing water breathing instead of the air bubble, Abs?
Yeah. Do you have a 3rd level spell slot to heighten to?
I will kick something out of a 3rd level slot. If I have something in there. Yeah. Yeah, I will actually see 3rd level slot. I have 2 3rd level slots. Yeah, actually I can do that. Because I only had picked 7 different spells, so yeah, I can do that. Okay.
Right, that'll let you target up to 5 creatures.
So there are, I believe, if we go for Cantrell, Shima, Shathra, myself, and Jathal, that would be the party, but not Wolfie.
Correct.
Are you cool with that, Shathra, or would you prefer to have Wolfie in there?
I would rather stay up if Wolfie can't go with me.
We're not asking if you would stay behind. We're asking if you would leave Wolfie behind. Yes or no? There you go.
Okay, so how about then I will stay behind. Is that wise?
No, that's not wise.
Who would be the best person to stay behind?
Jathal, because they can keep an eye on the area, and he does report to you.
Okay, let's leave Jathal behind and cast it on the 4 of us plus Wolfie.
Jathal is not 100% okay with that plan because it won't be able to directly protect you, but if that's what you wish, that's what he'll do.
First sign of danger, he's the first one on.
And I would be willing to wear a rope, and then if there is a problem, I can pull on the rope and Jathal can pull me out.
The rope won't go too far.
You'd have to tie several ropes.
Which honestly, not really worth it because we're going to be going through something that we don't know how to traverse yet.
I'm not so comfy leaving Jathal behind somehow.
Well, Considering I already took a dip,
I'm just trying to think what would be the best balance to take with us if we're leaving. Jathal behind, and he just will have to suck it up. I am going to ask Jathal if he has any way to join us with a spell or something that he has, an ability that he has on his own that he hasn't mentioned.
I do not have access to any such spells. I would need an item of some sort of magical acuity or to be a target of your spell.
Let me just check in my inventory.
actually, Shotgun. Shotgun.
Hmm.
How confident are you in holding your breath?
I love where this is going.
What does holding my breath require again?
Holding
DM?
your breath. Yeah.
Yeah, holding your breath and a bunch of con checks.
Bunch of what?
Con
Conscience?
checks.
Fortitude?
Yep.
Yeah, fortitude check.
I can be pretty confident.
Yeah, just trying to remember what the rule was for Cantrell, because he can only hold it for like 4 rounds.
Does anybody, in all the loot we've picked up, did anybody pick up anything that was a water breathing thing?
Nope.
Didn't look it.
I'm just looking through my stuff. For some reason, I know I have some kind
Yeah,
of a little thing.
you have climbing, which Cantrell has. You have your bolt of climbing.
I mean, I'm pretty confident I could do it.
And I think one of you still has the monkey clasp, which lets you actually climb as a talisman.
Yeah, the monkey pin. I have that.
But as far as skills stuff goes, I think that's it. There's a handful of things you guys never picked up. So, and,
And I'll bet you one of them was.
mm,
Yeah. Okay.
so I will tell you right now, so you can make an informed decision. These are the drowning and suffocation rules. You can hold your breath for a number of rounds equal to 5 plus your Constitution modifier, reducing your remaining air by 1 round at the end of each of your turns, or by 2 if you're attacked, or if you attack, like if you perform an attack action, or if you cast a spell that turn, you lose 2 rounds of breath. Um, you also lose 1 round worth of air each time you are critically hit, or critically fail a save against a damaging effect. If you speak, and this includes casting spells with verbal components or activating items with command components, you lose all remaining air. When you run out of air, you fall unconscious and start suffocating. You can't recover from being unconscious, and you must attempt a DC 20 Fortitude save at the end of each of your turns. On a failure, you take 1d10 damage. On a critical, you die. On each check after the first, the DC increases by 5 and the damage by d10. These increases are cumulative. Once your access to air is restored, you stop suffocating and you're no longer unconscious unless you're at 0 hit points.
I have a thought.
You know what? Here's what we'll do.
Well, okay.
Let me go drop Wolfie back off at the circus and then we'll go. She can hang out with Bardolph.
Practice the ball trick.
Yeah, she can practice the ball trick while we're gone.
Yeah, like if you want to leave her with Bardolph, Bardolph is non-aggressive towards Wolfie and actually likes Wolfie.
Yeah, I'll leave her with Bardolph. He didn't pet sit her.
That is perfect.
Yeah, I like that. I could do something with air bubble if I had to, but if trying to cast a spell in the water under duress to put an air bubble around you if we needed to is probably not as good an option. And the water breathing, now the only thing here with the water breathing is
does not impart a swim speed.
Yeah, and it takes me 1 minute to cast it.
That's fine. You cast it at the lip
I
of the
mean,
water.
1 minute to cast, it's not a problem.
Okay, so are we there in place then?
Is that what you
Huh?
guys are? Is that what you guys are going to want to do?
So,
Just
water
need.
breathing for the 5 of us,
For the 8
going
hours.
for 8 hours. So, Cantrell's mind, not exactly a clock, but he's close enough to where he's like, all right, time to back it up. So, if we need to, we vacate. And if we run into trouble, you know, we protect each other on the way out.
Alrighty. So you
Also,
guys.
also keep in mind of the time it takes us to get through the tunnel, just in case we have to make a return before the time limit is up.
You guys can get to the edge of the little water area at around noon, after all your discussion and preparation and doing all the things, and you know Shathra, being in her outfit and telling Bardoff that she's going to leave Wolfie with her, and then changing her outfit into her regular barbarian clothes because she refuses to still wear the outfit like all the time.
Yes,
Mhm.
because it could get damaged and dirty.
Mm.
You can do a quick change in the bush, it's fine.
Well, just saying, I have prestidigitation, so.
That doesn't mend.
Plus, I also don't really want to, like, its powers to diminish, like, its charge to diminish, you know, over time.
Anyway.
Alrighty. So let's take a break. You guys. So, all right. So we're going to
Hopefully
our
staying at
adventure.
camp.
Alrighty. So we're gonna take a break. I need a minute because I have to move some maps around because I wasn't expecting underwater adventures today. But
You
that's,
broke on the board.
I didn't because again I don't remind you of what you can do, and you guys kept talking about air bubble, and I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work. So I figured you guys were just like, nah, okay, we can't air bubble. Let's move on to
But
something else.
We found a way around.
I mean, kudos for you, but again, that just throws a
the old,
wrenches.
what's
The
really
problem
funny
is
is
that air bubble was in the A's and water breathing's down in the W's here, and I have everything alphabetical. So
Yeah, that's perfectly
what
fine.
can I say?
I was banking on you not doing that, and that's my fault. So we're going to take a quick break. Get up, stretch your legs, get a cafe or a mocha latte or whatever you
Have some
find,
break.
Ooh.
and we'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Let me do the thing
You
here.
shouldn't have said mocha latte.
Sorry, do you
I
want
wish I
to
could do
do,
some mocha
do
latte.
you want a mocha latte now?
Well, I can make something.
Maybe.
I'll look at you.
McDonald's ring. Go. Just kidding.
No,
I don't have.
I'll just find some cocoa. I'm good.
I wish
Uh,
Dunkin' Donuts was open so I could just go like 2 minutes down the road and be back in time.
It's that close.
oh God. All right.
Uh,
So,
Almost.
uh, Sirenscape, what are you doing?
I heard it go off for a moment.
Okay, there we
There
go.
it is.
Yeah, again, like they're doing some sort of weird web thing with their site, so I don't know. It's been acting weird today.
Fair enough.
So we'll see you guys in a bit.
No.
-110.
And we are live.
Hello.
Don't mind us. We're
No.
talking Pokemon Go.
Sorry about that delay, folks.
And we're not seeing Azarin.
I know, because I haven't lifted my thing yet.
Ah, okay.
That's why you're not seeing me.
I got cookie dough
Hey.
ice cream.
I didn't do that yet.
Ooh. I wanted to see those fancy cinnamon buns you were describing. God.
Oh yeah, they're like say big.
Please.
Mm.
Those are
Yeah.
big
And they're
things.
so
That's fun.
delicious. It's a shame that the shop that sells them is only open on the weekends.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, they're
Well,
open.
maybe that's a good thing, actually.
They are expensive.
Alrighty. So we're gonna theater of the minus until you decide what you're gonna do and you get to a map. Just double check. Alright, cool. We're good. So you guys get to the lip of the lake area. That little
If Granny wants to join us.
a little water spouty thingy. And Gwennon casts her spell. And you guys feel, in addition to air, you feel like you'd be good if you were in the water. So it's all of you plus Jarthal. Bardolph reassures Shrothra that he'll take good care of Wolfie.
And there would be in the spell casting, I'm sure, butterflies and lots of bubbles of water or bubbles, butterflies and bubbles involved in the spell casting. I think that you would see as the visual.
Alrighty, so you guys go down into the little water spouty thing, and you get down to a point where the light line is about a third of the way covering what is just under medium-sized hole in the side of this thing. It's about 30-40 feet down, right where the sun line actually ends, and it gets murky. Standing up straight at that point, no one feels anything at their feet. You do feel a small current though. Basically churning. It's kind of weird. It flows up, and then it kind of flows into this thing. But there's definitely motion of water here. The water is not stagnant at all.
Not bad. Well, something's obviously disturbing it.
With dim light, would I see anything additional, or would I be less visually handicapped?
Dim light just gives you low light vision for the most part. So you can, in darkness or bad lighting conditions, you can see up to a certain point. But things are, kind of dim and shadowy. I believe it extends, is it 20 feet? It's not very far if it's low light.
Yeah, it's 20 or 30 feet dim light beyond normal light. So if there's no normal light, it gets reduced to.
You can see in dim light as if it were bright light, and you ignore the concealed condition. Okay, so you can see about another like 20-ish feet, Gwennon, when you're at where and you can see now there's an obvious, like, almost medium-sized, like, hole. It's not man-made. It's definitely some sort of tube or some sort of tunnel of some kind. Um, and yeah, it goes in. You feel because I guess, are you gonna go down further to where the new light line is for you specifically?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Does Strethal have that as well?
I know I don't have dark vision, so
You just need low light to be able to see it a little bit further.
okay.
But if you don't have it, then you're not going to see it. Okay. He also has low light. So he's going to follow
I
you.
don't. So I'm kind of just like holding on for someone.
So so Gwennon kind of gives you like this, hold up motion because she's like, I can see a little bit further. Cause
I could also see.
She's got those elven eyes. So does the kitty. So they go down like a little bit further. From Cantrell and Shothr's perspective, they vanish into the darkness. Like, they're like, you cannot see them. They're gone. What you three see is, you see the complete like tube, and it has like a ripple on the out of it. You suspect it might be, because you're near a mountainous range, it might be a very old lava tube of some kind that's just part of this natural formation. Everything looks natural. Nothing looks out of place. You do feel, when you get a little bit lower, you feel an upward current of motion in the water. It's not like, like it's bubbling or anything like that, but you do feel like an upward momentum of water. And when you are near the actual hole, you feel like a very slight current pulling into. So the flow of water is definitely some source below the light line pushing water up into this tube. Uh, and there is definitely some sort of cavity in this tube somewhere, because you can feel water current pulling very slightly into the tube. How you doing? Are you gonna go back above the? You gonna go back above the light line so people stop freaking
Now
out?
we can't talk underwater, right?
Nope.
Okay, so what I would do is go back to where I can see the others and they can see me, and I would try to,
Motion.
sort of motion, like indicate that there's a tube, and we can
Well, no,
swim there.
they can see that there's definitely some sort of tube
Okay.
or something there. They just can't see the entirety of it, because for them, that's where the light line breaks, about a third of the way down its diameter. But you three
But
can see the entire thing fully without issue.
yeah, so I would indicate that it looks like a tube and there's water flowing, and try to indicate the direction of the water flow, and indicate with sort of a thumbs up that we can go. And if they want
Uh,
to sort of,
if you're gonna try and indicate that much, then I will need a bum 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 bum. I will let you, Mike, either a society or a survival check, because you're trying to convey some sort of information.
okay, so I'm proficient, so that would give me, so the plus is the number, the little circle, right? Got a plus 11 on survival, looks like, so we'll go with that. So that's a 28.
All right, yeah. You do some, you do some, like, some dexterous hand motion waving, and your point is clearly understood. So basically, Gwennon is pointing out that there's some sort of water current moving into this tube of space. Shothra, Kentrell, what are you guys doing?
I'm just gonna keep following them. I mean, if I can see them, I'm just gonna keep following.
So who's gonna take point?
I can't.
I think
Um,
maybe I will try to indicate to Jathal he should take point, and I'll go behind him.
All right.
I'll try to help guide Shothra since she can't see.
Under the map.
What about? Do you have any kind of extra vision, Cantrell, or no?
Extra vision?
Or like, you don't have low light vision or anything, right?
No. What I could do though, I believe I have this spell. Dancing lights. Uh, it
Because
is
you can breathe underwater, you can cast underwater.
yes. So basically, I'll be able to create about 4 floating lights. So it's kind of like in between each other. There's one light if we're in a line.
What's the duration on that?
The duration is indefinite.
Okay, until you cast it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
frequency is constant.
What's the because you can move it. What's the range on moving?
Let's see. The range total is 120 feet.
Yep, that's where you can. That's how far you can
No
cast it.
no two of which are more than 10 feet apart. Uh, Sustaining the spell, you can move any number of lights up to 60 feet. So basically, as we're moving along, it's traveling with us.
Okay. Alrighty. So there's a new mechanic in Pathfinder. There's an errata because they didn't write their original rules correctly. They had to errata sustaining. So you can only sustain once in a round. So you can't sustain 3 times because you have 3 actions. So technically you could sustain 3 times. And apparently that was a thing people were abusing with, spells that didn't have attack mechanics like, Flaming Sphere. They would just keep sustaining it and running it into people and burning them to pieces. And Paizo said, no more of that nonsense. I'll say with you can move them with enough space in the 60 because you guys have movement, but pretty much you're gonna be moving at a rate of 60 while you're no, because that would be 25, 25, 25, 25. I'll say you guys can move at a rate of 50 because you guys don't have swim speeds. So all your speeds are reduced. So once you cast the spell with the reductions, because there's actually a positive current in the way you're moving, I'll say you can move 50 in a round with the sustaining and moving the lights and all that stuff. You guys go for... It doesn't seem very long. There's definitely like some twists and bobs. Like there's no breaks or forks, but it's definitely in a regular shape that you're in. You do feel that it's not a straight line. There's deviation in it. After about 5 or so minutes, you feel a stronger current pulling you forward. If you don't actively try and fight against it, I need to know what you guys are planning to do. If you're going to try and resist the current, or if you're going to try and just let it take you.
Andrel's curiosity is starting to peak, and he's actually wanting to go.
Yeah, I think at this point I would be cool with letting the current just take us because we don't seem to be in any immediate danger. Can I do a perception check?
What are you trying to perceive?
if there is anything that looks dangerous.
I will tell you in the 60 some odd plus a little bit more for you of lighting in this tube. The tube itself is about maybe like 4 feet wide, and
Uh-huh.
it it goes between 3 feet and 5 feet in width as you're moving
Okay.
through it, but it never gets bigger than 5 feet anywhere, and it never gets shorter than 3 feet anywhere. So it's enough room. There's some tight squeezes, but you haven't seen anything dangerous. You're still in a long tube.
Yeah, I would be looking for something like a narrowing or, some kind of a jagged rock or something that looks like it could be an immediate threat. But if I'm not seeing that, I
Uh,
think I would
give me a nature check.
a nature check.
Also, as we're going down this tunnel, Shimmer will be keeping an eye out on along the walls and ceiling and such, seeing if there's any other openings or anything that the water may pass through, or maybe missing, and we could probably get through.
Okay.
Since we took a break and I have 2 hero points, I'm going to use one of them for a reroll. Oh, and that's a
use
stick.
the hero
Okay.
points.
I'm using the second one for a reroll.
Alrighty, go for it.
Okay, that's much better. So that is so I've used both my hero points and I have a 19.
Alrighty, so with a 19, not a crit, but definitely a success. Um, you can see, you've heard the term, um, just because, there's different types of scholars and whatnot in your church. And you've heard the term glassification before. Um, there is some signs of it in like certain areas of this tunnel. It leads you very much more to suspect at some point in time this might have actually been a lava tube. Um, there is no, you don't know of any volcanic activity from this in this region. So this might be something fairly old, or it could have been something left over from sort of some sort of spell. You're not 100% sure, but the from what you can see in the lighting and the nature of how the tube ebbs and flows in its diameter, you definitely have a strong feeling that this tube was made um, partially, if not completely, by some sort of magma or some sort of magma flow at some point in the past.
Obviously, that's a bit scholarly to share with the group at this point, but
Yeah, there would be no way to convey that underwater.
yeah. But it's just sort of a, for anybody who can see me, kind of a thumbs up that we're good. But like, obvious, like, Jathal is ahead of me.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So you guys are gonna allow the flow to take you. All right. That's cool.
I'm looking for
So
any openings along the walls and such.
you don't see any. Cantrell's light is very
I
good
also
at
have low
keeping the.
light, so
Yep. So after about another minute, um, there
Now, does
is
I'm sorry to interrupt, but does Cantrell's spell light give us additional lighting?
no.
Okay.
It's moving along with you. So
Yeah.
you basically have underwater torches.
Yeah, we're basically keeping an eye on each other
Yeah.
because light eventually goes down to nothing down here.
Yeah. Yeah. So what he's done is he is keep so there's 5 of you, there's a light source in between all of you, so that way everyone has some radius of light in front of them and behind them. If I understand how you were laying them out. And again, so after about another minute or two, um, the current picks up significantly. I need everyone to give me either dexterity. You need to give me some form of dexterity or strength check. You can substitute athletics or acrobatics, but pretty
can?
much,
Or I can't.
yeah, because you can, because it's a strength slash dex based check, but because of the nature of it, yeah, reflex. Sorry, I was playing.
Oh, it's a reflex check?
Yep, you can. Well, it
athletic.
reflex or strength. So basically, it would be reflex, strength, and you can sub those for either strength athletics or reflex acrobatics. Yeah.
You'll accept acrobatics then?
For the reflex save, yes.
Okay.
Spending the hero point.
Yes. More hero points gone.
22.
Okay, 22 will succeed.
I'm spending a hair point. This is the
25?
25 will succeed.
Alright, here it's getting the shittiest of rolls today. That's much better. And I'm using my athletics, so
I
that is
used
going to
acrobatics.
be Why am I so bad at math?
What are the numbers?
33?
33?
Wow.
Yeah, I did a 19 and I have a 13 in my athletics.
So, 33 will be
Did I
a
math that
critical.
right? Was 19 plus 13 33? Am I wrong?
32.
32. I was almost right.
It's still a critical success for you.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yay.
22 for Cantrell.
22 for Cantrell. That's a succeed. Jathal failed. He did not critically fail. Thank goodness for him. Because he has a fairly high athletics. Which saved him. If he was forced to use his acrobatics, he would have failed. So you see, so you're all just chugging along, and you feel this pull. Shrafa is unaffected by the pull. She finds her center, and she just pushes against it, no problem. Cantrell, Shima, Gwenin, they're okay. Gwenin, you see Jathal swimming ahead of you because he's taking point, and you basically see him look back like he's trying to acknowledge that there's a stronger current, and you just see him get sucked into the darkness.
Okay. Well.
Uh-oh.
There's a light between us. Who's behind me directly?
You guys tell me. You told me you and Jathal were a point, so he's 1, you're 2.
I stayed with Shafra, wherever she was.
Then I guess I would be in the middle of the lights.
So you're in the middle?
It's single file in here, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I motion to Cantrell, would he see me?
Yeah, he's close enough.
Can I convey to him that there's a problem with Jathal, or something sort of like point where Jathal was, and sort of a poof kind of thing, or something that we need to go?
Give me a perception check, Cantrell.
Okay. 16.
That's good enough. It's a simple save. So basically, you see a panicked Gwenin pointing in front of her, and you look in front, and in front of the orb, where Gwenin is, where there should be an armor-clad Jathal, there is no Jathal.
He just kind of rolls his eyes like, why? Okay. And we're just gonna keep following the current because logically, if he zoomed off, he's following the current. Like, there's no way to deviate at this point. He's got to follow it.
Nope, he does deviate. He goes,
Oh
whoosh.
no!
He goes,
So,
he's gone. Like you.
like, no. What I'm saying is like, is there another opening?
Oh,
That's what I'm
you
saying.
you don't see one currently. You feel a strong current, but you don't see any signs of any sort of agitation or any sort of shift in um, surroundings in the tube. You just feel a very strong force moving in that direction ahead of you. So you guys all made your saves. You can do a controlled move forward, or you can just say F it and let the current take you and move at the Jathal pace.
We're gonna control our pace. Just
I'd rather control it.
and
All right.
at this point, we'll take point. So
All right.
Yeah.
So Gwenin, Cantrell siddles past you to take point, and
I will
they're-
take point behind him as well.
All right. And then you guys are basically doing a controlled movement towards wherever Jathal ended up. I need perception checks from the two people in front.
that didn't go in the box.
27.
9.
9.
Gotta make up for Cantrell's perception.
Oh,
So,
we lost.
so
We lost the kid track.
Yeah, she just said she's
Oh.
got
Cantrell's having internet problems.
network issue.
Oh crap.
Hey, I'm still in my. Oh, no, I'm shivering now.
Let's give her a minute. We'll let the cams be a little bit wonky just in case she can just do a quick reset. I don't want to move all the cameras around and then have to switch them all back. I'll pop up on Discord on my phone so I can.
Bet she's gonna need a few minutes.
Okay, net issues. What time is it? So it's
6:30.
So it's 3:30. So let's do this. Let's take a break because the internet is being a jerk,
Ooh.
and we'll come back just to give Kitra some time to probably reboot her router and whatnot, and just to get her internet back up and running rightly. And we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, guys, depending just how long it takes for our player to get her internet to play nice again, and we'll be right back. All right.
I need a bathroom break anyway.
So we
It's
will
good time.
see you guys in a bit.
Bathroom break.
But yeah, internet decided to go poof.
And we're back.
Ew.
Except for
Oof, no
Jathal, who's
more.
lost.
Jathal is
Think-
somewhere in the void.
Oh God.
Thank you guys for your patience. Sorry about that. Internets are the internets. Is it really hot over where you are right now, Kitra?
It's in the 90s.
All right. I was thinking it might have been low hundreds. Usually the way stations have issues.
I think it's like maybe 93, 95. But it also depends on how many people are using the net at the moment too, whatnot.
Oh, you're in one of those areas, high congestion.
Yeah.
Boo.
What about power? Like, does that matter? Like, if a lot of people are using air conditioning and stuff, does that impact
No.
it?
It would only matter if the like the way they wire neighborhoods, like if the hub where the neighborhood is routed to had a power out because of high utilization, and it had to reset, then yeah,
Yeah.
that would take out a segment until it came back online, and that can happen. But a lot of that stuff is underground, or in some sort of like steel tube or box on a sidewalk somewhere. So
Yeah, there's plenty of those I see around every so often when traveling around here.
yeah, like if ever you see like a weird steel tube with a hatch, or a weird like file cabinet looking like box with like a hatch and some ventilation, it's either electric or internet, one of the two. There's wires.
And I have Comcast, so.
Scamcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember having them. Not fun. Alrighty.
Well, it's what's in the area.
I know. Sometimes you got no choice. Alrighty. So you guys were going with the flow, and you're moving about as fast as you were moving normally, like a little bit faster, because you're trying to catch up to Jathal and wherever he got off to. Second, moving the map. No, move up here. Thank you. What's your problem, sir? Let's see. Move where I tell you to move. Moving some tokens. Okay. Make sure I move you guys and not your random artwork on the map.
And sadly, Wolfie has been left behind with Bardolph.
Well,
I miss my Wolfie already.
well, he may be safe. I mean, maybe I should have
She-
left Jathal behind with Bardolph. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Bardolph would have been able to help a little bit better.
She's safe. She's fine.
I know, I just Chopper gets attached to Wolfie. It's her pet. Her best friend.
She wouldn't be your pet. She like an animal companion you would see in a different light than other people would see pets.
She's her best friend.
Yes, definitely best friend.
Best friend for sure.
There. Alrighty. So you guys, you were giving me perception checks before the internet decided to do wonky things.
Yep.
And then you
Okay.
from the two leads, which would be Cantrell and Shothra.
27 for me.
Cantrell, perception.
A good roll. 17.
17. 17 is fine. This is pretty obvious. So, as so the current is getting slightly stronger, and you're starting to see aeration bubbles in front of you.
Is
Um,
there a noticeable change in temperature?
there's a noticeable change in elevation. There's a downward slope you're heading towards.
Hmm.
And you see, like, it's not your light because the light is different, but there is like this greenish blue light in front of you that is different than your dancing lights.
That's the more speed going down here.
And I need to know what you're doing at this moment.
Oh boy. Okay. First things first. Uh, ooh, is this possible? Is this possible? No.
Anything's possible with enough mayonnaise.
Hmm. No,
I
no,
do
no,
love
sir.
me
We,
some
we,
mayonnaise.
we, we do not use mayonnaise, we use cheese. Um, well, it kind of just. Oh no. If he starts to notice a break in the water of sorts, he's going to prep Sea Surge to go in the opposite direction to slow the current enough for everyone to stop a little bit.
Right, you understand? See, like, it's not going to negate the damage it does, right?
It does damage on.
No, I'm just letting you know that it's not going to negate the damage because you're using a magical water effect to negate a natural water effect. If there's
Well,
damage being done by the magic damage is not going to be negated by the natural water.
that's fair as long as they don't critically fail on their save. Everyone here should be fine. Um, so he's just prepping a spell. He's not trying to use it right away.
So
Um,
at the point where you start prepping your spell, like you're pretty much in a slip and slide. Like you're like in a adventureland type downward slope.
loopy loop and all that fun stuff. All
Yeah.
right.
So everyone behind Cantrell, you see Cantrell make some gesticulations, and then Cantrell disappears bottom first.
um, so
So
at this point,
who? So
it's
that's so we'll get back to you. So Shathra, you're in line next. What are you doing?
Mm,
You see Cantrell. You're still under the effect of your success from the current. But you do see Cantrell start gesticulating. Like there's like you see some obvious water agitation, and some like air bubbles starting to appear in front of him, and then he just like you just see him like just like literally just the floor dropped out from under him.
I'm just gonna follow where the air bubbles are coming from, or where
Okay,
the like. Yeah,
so so are you just letting the current take you, or are you gonna try and resist?
I'm gonna try and resist so I can control myself a little bit.
All
But
right,
I'm
so
gonna try
then
and if he went down, I'm going down.
alrighty, so you get to where he is, and because you got a critical success on your previous save, you can either make me another athletics or acrobatic save to brace yourself in the tunnel,
Yeah.
because literally there's a slip and slide right in front of you. Like there's just like it just goes down into darkness.
That's gonna be a hero point.
Not darkness, but it's kind of like greenish bluish light.
Either way, it's gonna be a hero point.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
Yeah, I would have failed.
This is a little bit better. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 just succeeds. So you're able to brace yourself before this like it's a severe downward slope, and you have yourself braced.
Okay.
So who's behind Shathra?
Probably me.
Alrighty, you see Shathra brace herself, um, and she's stopped in the tube, and she's just. You don't see Cantrell past Shathra, and the current is very much stronger, and there are obvious air bubbles. You have a normal success. You're going to run into Shathra. I will give
What?
you a reflex save to avoid hitting her as the current is pulling you forward.
Okay. Can I use acrobatics or no?
You can use acrobatics. I'll let you switch out.
That is going to be a 26.
All right. So basically, you like you do the whole like cross your arm things, and you spike your legs, and you just shoot under Shathra's legs. So Shathra, you see Shima, just cross armed and legs spiked, just whip down past you, and she just goes into this weirdly lit tube of air and water that shoots down.
It's gonna be like you're some sort of woo.
Gwennon,
Jesus.
same thing. Are you gonna allow you're gonna get taken by the current? I will allow you a reflex check or an acrobatics if you want to swap out to avoid running into Shathra as you get pulled past her.
Okay. Acrobatics. 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 is good. Same thing. You saw what Shima did, and you're like, all right. And just same thing, Shathra. You look down and you see Gwennon now just whoosh, just shoot under your legs and just drop down into this deep slant. What are you doing?
All right, I'm going with them.
All right, you're gonna let go. All right, awesome. All right, so everyone's sliding down. Alrighty, so Kentrell, you're sliding down. Your spell, um, you have and you can try and activate your spell before you feel the time of you not being able to goes away. So you have a split second reaction to either cast the spell you prepared to try and push against you guys shooting down this tube, or just say F it and go down.
He's just going to give the rest of the party that's above him a slower descent as he continues and
So
use the spell upwards.
So you're gonna see surge the party.
Going to see surge the party 60 feet for the first round, 60 feet for the second round. But then he's just going, trying to slow their descent a little bit.
You still haven't found Jathal?
No, it's been too long.
Well, you guys decided to do a slower descent. Jathal just got sucked away. So not a whole lot, you can do for that. So let's see. Duration until the start of your next turn. So it's until the start of your next turn. So you only have one round of this stuff. You slap and stomp near a liquid surface. You're in a liquid surface. That's fine. So you surge water rushing away from you. So you chose upward. 5 foot thick, 10 foot high. Okay, 60 feet in a direction. So it's going to move 60 feet up. Carrying objects that will slow and bug. Move direction. Large or smaller creatures in the area. Advanced area. Let's attempt a fortitude save. Alrighty. So I need a fortitude save from Gwennon, Shima, and Shathra.
Okay.
It's going to be a 23 for me.
That'd be a
Pass.
28 for me.
You pass.
23 for me.
You pass. Successful on all counts.
Alrighty. So
Creature is unaffected,
yeah, they have
as in they're not knocked prone.
yeah.
If
So
if the creature was swimming, it gets a critical failure instead. If it failed, which they did not.
yeah, it didn't fail. They succeeded, so they're unaffected, so they're not slowed down.
Even though the water's going upwards,
Yeah,
like water over water.
because the surge is a push, so you're trying to push them. You didn't communicate to them that you're trying to do that, so they're gonna feel an upward surge of water and not know what it is, and they're gonna try and resist it because that's just what you would do naturally because they don't know you're casting it because your dancing lights are way behind you.
Speaking
and,
of
and and you're ahead.
well, they're winked out because I'm already past 120 feet at that point.
Yep. And if they chose to fail because they're underwater, they would have got
They
the
would have
critical fail result.
they would have damaged. Yeah.
Yep, they would have
The
sustained
idea
damage
was
from it.
to do it logistically, not to
I
like
understand.
hurt
I
it.
understand what you're thinking. I was trying to communicate that
Basically just fell
magical
in pieces.
magical effects on nature don't interact with nature exactly the same. Like if it's two competing waves hitting each other, that's one thing. You sending a magical wave at water isn't necessarily going to act the same way it would if that was just something a natural occurrence did, because the magic is going to have different effects. So they feel this rush of water past them, but because that rush of water from you, because it's created, you're trying to surge the water back up, but magically, the magical effect of that surge does not affect them. So they're still shooting down as they were. So I'm going to need, when you guys get to the end of this water slide, oh fun, uh, I'm going to need fortitude saves from everyone as you basically like slam into the bottom of what looks to be like some sort of like river-ish type.
I'm gonna be slamming. That's gonna be a 14.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, are we able to use
Nope.
acrobatics or less than? Nope. Just a wait.
Nope. This is fortitude because this is technically a fall.
I think I'm liking
Ah.
my new dice tray, 27.
22.
All right, 27 and 22 are successes. What did you get, Chopper?
14.
14 is a fail. Cantrell, what'd you get?
18.
18 is a fail.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, welcome to the realm of higher DCs, guys.
Welcome to Wizard Can't Do Physical much.
You guys are fifth. You guys are fifth level. You're moving on up in the world. All right. So if you pass, you take half of this. If you fail, you take all of this.
Great.
Alrighty. So that is 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
I take 8.
Yep. It could have been worse. It is not as bad because you basically landed in water, but it is a rocky shore. So you fell on hard stuff in shallow water. And I don't know if you guys have ever had dumb adventures in water parks. That never ends well for you.
Belly flop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
All
a
right.
smack into concrete. Ooh.
Yeah, yep. Give me a hot minute here. I need to do the OBS thing. So, yep.
If you see Jethal anywhere. Oh, well, it would be too dark, I guess.
You are in. I like that. That was a good size. People can see stuff. I approve. Oh, did I move the marker over? I probably did move the marker over. Because, that's the thing you need to do as a DM is to make sure your players can actually see where the hell they are on the field, because that's the thing. And all right, so you guys should see yourselves in the new map.
Yep.
Alrighty. So all of you can give me a perception check.
That's going to be a dirty 20.
Passes.
28.
Okay, that's a pass. Shathra?
Fortitude?
Yep. No, not fortitude, perception.
Oh, perception? Okay. Oh, I need to start using this die more. 28.
Alrighty, so successes, not crits. Only failure is Cantrell, who landed face first in the water. And
I did too, but
he did notice that over here you can see the feet of this particular elven dude who's washed up on shore.
I think I bet.
Gwennon, I think your man is over there.
Okay,
she'll
so we
point
are
to where he
basically
is.
on land now.
Sort of.
You're in a cavern.
Okay, so we're in a cavern. Am I able to walk over or move over to where Jathal is to check him over?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's fine. He's just basically sitting on the shore waiting for you guys. He apologizes. He looks a little dinged, not a whole lot. He basically says, he turned around to let you know that there was a light, and he forgot he's holding a shield, and his shield caught the current, and he basically, water kited into the tube.
Well, I must admit, Jathal, that I was a little concerned, or more than a little concerned. I'm really glad to find you in one piece.
I apologize, my lady. It's my lack of awareness. I forgot I was underwater and in a current, and I did not adjust my shield properly.
Perfectly fine. I'm just glad you're okay.
Meanwhile, Candace just kind of looked over, face full of red, as he just breathes in and gets dripped in.
I can't hear Cantrell at
You're
all.
kind of
I'm sorry.
breaking up a little bit.
Sorry. So Cantrell just kind of flips over, a little red in the face, mostly from the face plant, and just kind of drips a little bit by Shoppa. It's like, oh, that's not as terrible as I thought it would be.
She's
Alrighty.
gonna look down at Cantrell and pick him up, put him back on his feet.
Alrighty.
Are you okay, Cantrell, or do you need to be healed?
One moment. He just reaches in for Gwyneth's cake. Oh, I should be fine in a moment.
Yeah, you eat the cake. You're full HP. Any spell slots you consumed are back, and you have an extra hero point.
Hey.
Right.
I hope
Like-
it wasn't
No,
salt.
it was no. Strangely enough, these cupcakes are rather resilient while they still have the effect. Kind of pulls out Shima's cupcake. See?
Yep, that's fine.
How
And while
much
you
time
guys,
is left on Gwennon's cupcakes?
I think you have another day. Because I think you got yours before the trapping.
Yeah, it
Like
was
the,
the
the
it
like the
was the
midway
last session that we did.
the midway point. It was either that,
Okay.
so you either have a day or 2 days, one of the two.
Okay.
So I am gonna need initiative from everyone.
Oh boy.
Yeah, as basically you're loud splashing and sploshing. You hear something like further on in that cave system, moaning and groaning. And
Now, for initiative, we also add our perception, correct?
you were doing, yeah, it would be perception because no one was doing anything else that they alerted me to
Okay.
for
Yep.
their role.
Oh, okay.
So
It's up on a 3.
I'm really liking this dice tray. I think the leather one has, I don't know, it doesn't have the same action or something. It's, I don't know, this is just way better. Could you excuse me momentarily? I'll
Yep.
be right back. Doorbell again.
Super popular today.
Maybe your husband went on another walk.
So I AFK for a second too.
Alrighty.
Break number 3, here we go. Just kidding.
Nah, they're just gonna be real fast. So let's see. Okay, music. So that is X. And pop these guys. And then
For some reason, I'm not in the initiative order.
here you are. I see your I see your 14.
I don't see myself either.
I don't see myself on there. I didn't even put it in. How do you know it's not even a 14?
What the heck?
I see two
I
monsters
see
and
Cantrell's
Cantrell.
3.
All right, hold on. Let me. That's weird. Let me. Yeah, I can see it. Interesting.
Cantrell, how can you possibly have 3 for initiative?
I rolled a 1 and I have 2 deaths.
Alrighty, let's do this again.
Oh.
Cause
Okay.
alright, so level 26. Alright, so I'm gonna clear the tracker. So I'm gonna move all turns. Okay, and then I'm going to add everyone back. Oh, I know why. Because I'm on the wrong layer. Duh. Goofball. There we go. Alrighty. So all should see your initiatives on the tracker now.
Yep, I can see everybody.
Okay. So I'm just like, I don't know what happened. You guys were all there. You populated your stuff, so I don't know.
I didn't even type anything. That was weird though.
Really? That I didn't. Okay, that's weird.
I couldn't populate it because I couldn't
Yeah.
see myself.
Interesting. Some Ghost of Tsushima type shit. But
Here we go.
Alright, so we just need Shimas.
Yep.
Just keep whatever your old initiative was. You don't have to re-roll. Okay, awesome. So let's get this into some order. Jathal goes first. Good. Alright, so Jathal is surprised. So you can't act because you all failed your perception checks against these guys because they were stealthing. So he doesn't get to go. Yeah, so for those that are wondering, there's no surprise rounds in Pathfinder. So the way surprise works is if you fail to perceive something that is stealthing or hiding or concealing itself on initiative, and you're ahead in the initiative from whatever that is, so the surprise is you don't get to act in that round where you failed to notice the stealthing combatant. So it's not a full round of everyone can't do shit. It's whoever beat them in the initiative takes the penalty, and then initiative goes as normal from that point. If that makes sense.
Basically, all of us can't trail.
So quick question.
Yep.
Initiative is based on perception for this part, right?
For you guys, yeah.
Okay, I need to edit one thing. There we go.
Oh my god.
I rolled a 1 and I have no perception.
Alrighty. That sucks. I will tell you the lower
I was last
initiative.
anyway.
Yeah, the lower initiative one, you guys didn't beat. You guys beat, so you aren't affected by him. Just the one that goes first. His movement is. Movement is that cool. Alrighty, so you see this this man-sized glop of mud, and I'm going to.
Oh, fun.
Yep, you see that.
Oh, great.
Basically, just kind of come out of the wall, and so.
Oh, he's wearing a hat and has grass growing.
15, 25. Actually, hold on. 20. I believe they can chunk. Yep, that's what it's gonna do. So basically, it gets kind of bulbous.
Ooh.
Is that an action? Is that a single action? No, it's 2 actions. So he has to move once, and then and from him, 20. All right, so this is only going to affect Jathal and Shima. I need a reflex save, please.
It's going to be 28 on me.
And your reflex. Okay, so you both pass. So basically, this jet of mud just shoots out of it, and it hits you guys. So you're only gonna take. So you're gonna take half damage because it's a basic save. No one critically failed, so you don't take any of the condition penalties. Sad Panda. It does do. You each are going to take half of 8 points of damage because I rolled like garbage. That's
Oh,
fine.
4.
Yep. All right, Shothra, it's your go. You see this this gout of mud spray over Shima and Jathal, and you
Ugh.
see like this like man-sized glop of mud at the inside the hallway. This cave system is illuminated by um, iridescent algae.
Oh, how cool.
Which is why it
Well,
has like this blue-green like glow all about it.
well, I'd have to take at least 2 actions to move, so.
Yep.
Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Just gonna squeeze through. And I'm gonna plop here and I'm gonna rage. And that'll be my turn.
All right. So that's your turn. Gwennon, it's your go.
God.
Okay. Would I have a clear shot at this thing, or no? Given
For
people in the
for
way and
for a
everything.
range attack, no. Actually, you would have a blah, 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 blah. I would say he is very concealed. It'd be a -2 circumstance penalty.
Okay. Um. Okay. How can we all see fairly well in here?
Yeah, it's just better than dim light down here
All right.
because of
So
all the
then
natural illumination.
what I'm going to do is I am going to I guess there's really no place to particularly move, is there? And if I was to if
Depending what you want to do.
okay, I want to get out of the way of other people.
Currently, the only person you're in the way of is Kentrell.
The only person I'm in the way of is Kendra. Can I move to here? Or is that
You can move there. You'd have to use a second movement action to get there. 'Cause you have
okay?
to move.
If I do that, do I provoke an attack of opportunity?
You don't know. You don't know if this monster's a fighter type creature.
Okay, but is there a way I can do it where no, okay, I'm going to risk it. I am going to try to move to here, which would be 2 rounds of movement, and for my third action, I am going to cast guidance on Shathra.
Okay, guidance
And
is
that's a cantrip.
all right. And you see another mud guy right here.
Okay.
Alrighty, Shima, it's your go.
Alright. Shimmer's gonna move behind this guy.
You can't.
Go
There's not
into-
enough space there.
Huh?
Not enough space.
Okay.
There needs to be at least half of the square unoccupied, and more
Okay.
than half of that square is occupied
Alright.
by the wall, so you wouldn't be able to stand
Then
there.
I'll go up here then.
Okay.
So, and I go into Tiger Stance and Flurry of Blows. First one's gonna be 26.
26 is a critical hit.
Nice. So I doubled my dice score, right?
Actually, what I'm doing is roll all the dice.
Okay, so roll the dice twice.
Yeah. Basically, we actually had a very long discussion with some other GMs last night for Pathfinder, and we were finding that too many people, because of their bad luck, would roll low for a critical and would wind up getting gypped out of the extra potential damage that they would be doing. So
Okay.
roll all your dice.
$19 damage.
Okay.
And
And
for second,
what type of damage is it?
this is Tiger Stance.
Oh, so it's
So
slashing, right?
yeah, slash.
Okay.
See if I could try to remove as much mud off at this thing as I can.
And that was off a single punch, right? Not the second one's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, that was a single punch.
Okay.
Second one's gonna be it's gonna be a -4, so 21.
Uh, a 21 will also hit.
Not a crit.
Nope.
No,
No, you
that's
guys are
going
not
to
fighting things
be
where a 21's gonna be a crit anymore. Just so you know.
that's gonna be 13 damage.
Okay. It's still up. It doesn't feel like all of your damage is getting through.
Okay.
Okay, so the second one goes 5, 10, 15, 20. Gwen, and this thing is in your face. And it kind of like just gets bulbous for a bit. And this
Ew.
jet of nasty, sticky mud hits you and goes past you and hits Shathra. Uh, I need reflex saves from both of you, please.
Yummy. You just love getting mud in your face. You said reflex?
Yep.
That's a 10.
Okay, that is a fail.
Here we go with the 10 with 2s again.
Gwennon?
Yes.
What's your reflex?
Reflexive.
Reflex save. Sorry. Oh, he moved. Oh,
Yeah, you're right on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
oh,
course he
geez. Okay. This isn't looking good. Reflex save. That is going to be an 18.
did. 18 succeeds.
I succeed or he succeeds. I'm sorry.
You succeed.
Okay.
18 passes. So you're going to take half of 12, and Shrathra's going to take 12. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, she'll take
Yay.
6 because she's raging. This counts as bludgeoning damage, so you'll take half.
Oh, it's it's right.
So if you succeeded, you probably took a quarter.
Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. So that's its go. Can't do anything else. Cantrell, you heard more of that nasty mud stuff, and you kind of see like some mud splashing over Shathra.
My blood has been coated with mud.
What did
Let's
you say?
see.
What was your reflex check again? I'm sorry.
9?
It was 9.
It was
Yeah.
12.
Okay, yeah, you're fine.
We're just gonna go ahead and use a produce flame and just kind of smack it as we kind of just walk up to it. And I believe that's an 18 to hit.
18 hits.
All right. Let's see here. I can cast up to 3rd level spells, so this is heightened 3 total. Okay. Okay. So 13 fire damage.
Okay. So the 13, like you feel like your damage does more as you hit it with fire, and it kind of like it looks like it dries up,
Oh.
and it just crumbles to dust.
Oh.
Oh,
No, I guess they don't like being dry. Hmm.
I guess fire is its weakness.
Alrighty.
Well, that takes
so,
care of one.
Alright, so Drathal is going to
Pick himself up.
5. No, well, he wasn't down. He just was like there, and then he is going to chuck his star knife twice at this guy with a tiny penalty. Okay, so the first one is just actually wait no, because they're AC and so that is yeah, you just hit, and the second one is definitely a hit. Alright, so Jathal hits 2 times. Oh, give me a second here. And update that. And average damage. So it's 12, 16, 19 between the 2 hits. Minus the thing. Okay. No. That's because I pulled them both out to make copies. I hate that happens. Right, so you're just there. And you take 16. Alright, so it's still up. You are with initiative because you're done. Shothra, it's your go. Your target
All right.
is no more.
On to the next target. And swing, bada, swing.
Okay.
That is going to be a 23.
23 will hit.
With 2d12s. I love having 2d12s, by the way. Just makes it spicy.
Isn't it nice?
Mm-hmm. Need my blood spattered when even though this is mud. Ooh. Wait, what? It's not a d12. God damn it.
What'd you roll, a
You
d20?
rolled more than 12, it wasn't a d12.
It was a 10, but it was the 100 dice, so that's not as spicy. It's 12 damage.
Okay. Alrighty. Ready? You don't feel like all of your damage went through.
I had a feeling it wasn't going to. Doesn't matter, I'm still pissed.
Go on, it's your go.
Okay. Not being able to do much that is terribly useful, I am going to, however, since I'm right there, swing at it with my star knife.
Alrighty.
So do attacks very often. I'm just kind of looking here. So I would add my dex to that. Is that correct?
There should already be a modifier on your character sheet for it.
Yeah. Well, it says okay. Yeah, there should be.
Mm,
Yeah, it's dex. Okay, so that would be I believe that is so it's the dex, but I've got
no, you have
a,
you
a
have a you have
10.
a you have a +10 to your attack with
Yeah,
your
plus
star
10.
knife.
So it's 24.
24 is a hit, not a crit.
Okay, so that would then be kind of pathetic damage. But so I believe then that is 1d4 plus 3. So that's going to be 4 damage.
Okay. You don't feel like all your damage went through.
Okay, and I'm going to try again. So on the second one, that's a -5, correct?
-4. Star knife is
Minus
agile.
4. Okay, -4. So that is going to be now
Take
it's
my
a
third
7,
action.
so that absolutely doesn't hit.
Oh well.
And then for my third action, I'll just cast the shield cantrip.
I completely forgot to take my third action. Oh well.
Oops.
Like a dum-dum.
Shima, it's your go.
Okay. I'm actually going to change my stance to dragon stance and move up here and start kicking. So, flurry of blows. First one is going to be. That's going to be 30 to hit.
30 is a hit, and that is a crit.
Okay. And this is bludgeoning damage, so since slashing didn't do as well, let's try bludgeoning. That's gonna be 30 damage as well.
Jeebus. Yeah, so you put your boot through this thing, and it just kind of just melts.
Nice.
Yeah. Stupid mud monsters.
Alrighty.
So bludgeoning works.
Yeah.
You didn't feel any of your damage not go through.
Yeah, I think mine's slashing.
Yeah, my tiger stance is slashing, and it felt like it was like wasn't doing as much.
Knowing what we just fought as what they are or were, would I be able to discern what these creatures are and what their place in the world really is?
Give me a recall knowledge.
To be mud. To be heaping sacks of mud.
Let's
That's
see.
what their purpose
Is that
is.
just a straight intelligence roll, or
For this creature, recall knowledge is going to be either Arcana or Nature.
Connor's gonna be my best roll? A flat 30.
Flat 30. Yep, you know specifically what this is. It is a mud wretch. It's an elemental, but it's an elemental of both earth and water. It has physical resistance, slightly, You know already that it has a weakness to fire.
Mm.
Um, and oof, sorry. And one other thing you know is that they are susceptible to desiccation attacks. So things like horrid wilting um, will basically like dry it out like a plant and does a lot of damage to it.
So particularly dry areas it does not like. Right.
It you wouldn't find this in a particularly dry area.
Right.
Like they prefer um, biomes that are either swampy, lots of peat, stuff like that. Some place where there's a good mix of earth and water.
Do I know?
That's all you know from recall knowledge. I gave you an extra. I gave you an extra thing because you're crit.
Okay. He's trying to think because like you said they were golems, right?
No, they're elementals.
Oh, they're elementals. Okay. So no, they were not created to just stand guard or anything. Okay.
No,
Um,
this was just where they lived.
fair enough. Um,
And then crashed into their pad, smashed their shit, and took them out.
technically, we didn't really,
Hey, they
destroy
started
anything
it.
until they fought.
Yeah, they started it. This wasn't our fault.
Are they
They didn't.
normally aggressive, territorial
Uh,
beings?
they're territorial. Most elementals are territorial. You'll know that much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That means they
All right.
started it.
Are we out of combat?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Is it possible for Gwennon to walk or to make her way over to about here onto this rock?
You would have to make two successful reflex saves to get past the rapids.
Oh, there's rapids.
Yeah,
So these are the
those.
rapids. Okay, so if I go here, am I okay there?
If you try and walk past that point, you're gonna have to make a reflex check.
Okay, if I don't walk
The
past this point,
you're fine. The current's kind of rough. It's pushing against you from behind, but it's not.
oh,
It's because of the break in the flow at the top of the map. The current is not strong enough to actually push you down.
okay. I'm going to cast the cantrip Detect Magic.
What's the range?
30-foot emanation.
Only thing you sense are your party members' stuff.
So the bow on my back.
Because am I recalling correctly that initially when we killed the animal, or when we found the animal that was at the surface of the pond, the water had not been polluted, so we thought the water might have some magical properties, or am I misremembering?
You speculated, but you didn't find any magical energy in the water. I told you that surprisingly, the water does not look like it's rancid because there is a dead body next to it. Um, you you suspect, after knowing what you know now, that there is enough movement of water for you know, the water to not be tainted. Granted, you don't want to drink directly where the dead body was, but after removing the dead body, there was enough movement of water to, you know, naturally
Purified.
cleanse the water.
Okay,
Basically,
so
it's everything that would be bad would have settled out.
okay, so from where where I'm standing, can I communicate with the other party members to tell them that at this where I am, I don't detect anything magical?
Yeah, you just yell down the hall,
Okay, so I will do that.
Sounds good to know.
and then Thal's going to come out here because he doesn't want to leave you out there by yourself.
Speaking of emanation, uh, this room that they were in, do they? I can use detect magic as well, just for this mud wretch area.
Yep.
You can do so.
You
Anything ping?
don't sense anything magical.
Okay. It's better to know nothing's there than not know something's there. Okay. At that point, he'll just kind of come back to like the stream and just kind of get the mud off of him. Still wet, but whatever.
Well, you know,
He's still a bit.
pre-
He's still a little dazed.
prestidigitation will dry you off. So I mean, it's not like you can't, get
True.
dry. I mean, although I'd wait until you're consistently in a dry area.
Yeah. Why do it when there's no point?
Yeah, I'll let you know where you are now, Shima. I'm sorry, not Shima. But yeah, actually, everyone in the water right now, the water is pretty much knee height. Uh, Maybe a little bit lower because Shrathra's kind of tall.
Yeah, comes out.
She is. I
I'm
mean,
tall. I'm not.
she's the tallest party member.
5'5" is the tallest party member.
You're 5'5". I thought you were taller.
No, she's short. That's why she got made fun of so much in her clan.
Ah,
6'2" here.
she's a runty orc.
I'm a runt of the clan, yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, that explains a whole lot.
Actually, I'm 5'11".
How tall is Shima?
I don't think I actually gave her a height.
I think
I don't
between
I don't think the cat people actually get that tall.
Yeah, I think Jathal and Cantrell are the tallest ones in the group.
I am a
How tall's
medium
Cantrell?
size, so
6'2".
6'2". I don't know how tall Jathal is though.
I have it written down somewhere, but forget where
Yeah.
it is.
cat folk are medium size, so I say almost
So-
about average.
So where are you guys going?
Made it this far. I don't see why we shouldn't keep moving.
Yeah.
Well, should we continue or save this for next session because it's almost 8 o'clock
Oh, I
Yeah.
know,
for me,
but,
well, for
but
me.
I think we're
I-
gonna be continuing,
you're
but
going to be continuing,
Yeah.
but I want you guys to move to where you are next going to move to, because I want to see if
Okay.
something happens.
All right.
Well,
I guess we make our ways down the stream here.
Yeah.
So you're gonna want reflex checks though with the waterfall or the rapids there.
If you're heading past
Or
that,
do we have to walk in the water, or like
If we
these are
have
cave
to.
walls, right?
Yep.
those. I mean, if you want to just slide down, but if you want to stay upright, you have to make reflex saves. I mean, you can still breathe in water. The spell is still active, so I mean, it's not like you're gonna suffer any
Okay,
choking
I'll
damage.
just slide down then. I'll just slide down into the main pool.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I will do.
you slide down with no problem. You slide down and you sploosh into the water right here.
Okay,
Oh,
are these rocks or are they pillars?
Those are flat rocks.
Okay, I'm gonna come over and sit on this flat rock.
If you're gonna slide down from that side, I would need Shathra and Shima to give me reflex saves to not smash into the rocks.
Okay.
Smash it.
It's a hazard. It's there. You can't go through it.
It's a 12.
27.
All right, you're fine. What'd you roll, Shathra?
I got a 12.
Yep. You slide into the rocks and you
Is he
take 4
considered a
points.
catapult, Kitra?
Take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
this
I'm
is
gonna
not her day.
keep Jathal next to you. He's not gonna leave trouble alone. So you guys are there. Gwennon basically just dives into the water and pulls herself up onto this flat rock. And
smash into a
when
rock.
I need everyone to stop where you're moving, because as she does that, right here, like a like gout of water shoots up out of like breaking the surface,
Oh,
like
great. Another giant
like,
eel.
and she'd be so lucky. And like as the water from the gout drops and the spout dissipates, hovering above the water
Ooh.
is this guy.
Is that a sea dragon?
Interesting.
And
Pretty.
that's where we're gonna end it.
Okay.
Oh, great. A sea dragon.
Oh boy.
Yup. There's a dragon in them dar caverns.
I was actually right. It is a sea dragon.
Well, you don't know. It's dragonish.
If you
Enough.
call it.
Ish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
that's
call
yeah.
it.
I
It's
didn't
enough.
know if that was actually a sea dragon.
I can check what it is next time.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for showing up. Whether you're watching live or watching on VOD, love your faces. Another episode in the can. Come see us in 2 weeks to see what happens with this thing that did not look very happy about these humanoids intruding in its domain. Um, and this is not the only show that we have. I don't believe bot's active. That's fine. On Monday, we're going to have. Wait, is Monday another episode of Chimera Collective?
I believe so.
All right, so it's going to be, I believe, episode 5 of Chimera Collective, Darkness and Darvasta, which is we're a little hiatus mini campaign that we're doing while we're on hiatus from the Mass Effect game on Monday. Tuesday is going to be another Into the Wildlands mini hiatus game while our normal season 3 of Destiny Forge is on hiatus. And then next week, Saturday, is going to be another episode of Withered Wastes, which is a post-apocalyptic magic shenanigans stuff. That group is thinking about doing some very dumb things that the season 2 campaign had to deal with. And yeah, season one campaign to deal with. But yeah, they're planning on doing some dumb stuff, and I'm hoping they get to meet some characters from campaigns past because it'll be fun. Because yeah, because some of them have attitude, and yeah, it's
Same way your character.
the characters that they potentially are going to meet aren't fond of attitude. So it'll be fun if that actually happens. I'm waiting. I'm crossing my fingers for it to happen.
You just want them to meet Rose, don't they? Don't you?
You guys, Withered Waste would meet Rose because it's not the same timeline. It's not the same. It's not the same time range. Like if they met Rose, it would be a much younger Rose.
A little more deadly.
Way less deadly. I mean, she would have not been an adventurer at the point where they would have met her. She would still be training for her profession. But again, with that means she wouldn't be alone. She'd be with like a contingent of much more deadly people than she would be at that age. So again, yeah, you still wouldn't want to run into her. But there are other characters you guys run into. I actually want to see if you guys run into any of H.B. Fox's previous characters, because that would not end well, and I would giggle I would giggle hysterically.
Yeah. That's it.
Yep. But that's pretty much it for us, guys. Those are the deets. Our podcast show, Behold Lore, is also on hiatus. We'll let people know once our hiatus shows come back. Just we have some players that have family obligations during the summer, so the summer gets weird for us. But once the summer's over and people's IRL becomes less stressful, we should get back to some of our more regularly scheduled programming. And that's pretty much it. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Be safe, party hard. Don't take any wood nickels. And that's it. Have a good one. Peace out.